Ever wonder what happens to racehorses after they cross their last finish line? For a select few, retirement means green pastures, gentle care, and lifelong respect. But for many others, the story takes a darker turn. Today, we're revealing the truth, both heartwarming and heartbreaking, about what really happens when the crowds go quiet. Why this topic matters. Every year, over 15,000 thoroughbreds retire from racing around the world. That's thousands of animals bred for speed and adrenaline, suddenly left without a purpose once their careers end. Some fade quietly into the background. Others disappear entirely. Yet, despite horse racing's glamour and prestige, what happens after the race is rarely discussed. Why? Because it's complicated, it's uncomfortable, and sometimes it's intentionally hidden. But understanding this part of the sport is critical, not just for animal lovers, but for anyone who believes in responsibility, ethics, and honoring those who give us everything they have. The ideal scenario. What should happen? Let's start with the ideal. In a perfect world, every racehorse would retire like Justify, the 2018 Triple Crown winner, who now lives a life of luxury at stud, his every step watched over. Or Zenyatta, the beloved queen of the track, who now resides peacefully as a broodmare, doted on by fans worldwide. Some horses are retrained to become dressage champions, trail companions, or even therapy animals for veterans and children with special needs. Their intelligence and sensitivity make them remarkable partners off the track. Organizations like Old Friends Farm in Kentucky offer dignified retirement to former champions. And even the forgotten ones. Darley, the global breeding powerhouse, runs retraining programs to help former racers transition to new lives with skill and care. These are the success stories, the ones we all want to hear, but they're not the full picture. The harsh reality for many. Here's the truth racing rarely tells. For every horse that finds a forever home, many don't. Some are sold at auction for just a few $100s, passed from owner to owner, neglected, or left to fend for themselves in backyards. Others vanish into what's known, whispered really, as the slaughter pipeline. Yes, despite strict regulations in some countries, horses can and do end up in kill pens, especially in regions without enforced tracking laws. It's a subject the racing elite avoids, often out of discomfort or guilt. But for those who've worked behind the scenes, the stories are chilling. Whistleblower reports have surfaced over the years. Ex-racers found starved, injured, or abandoned. No gore, no dramatics, just real, tragic neglect. Made worse by a system that too often looks the other way. Because once a horse stops earning, they often stop mattering. The role of the racing industry. So who's responsible? In recent years, major organizations like the Jockey Club, Thoroughbred Aftercare Alliance, and Racing Welfare UK have started to step up. They've introduced funding models, registration systems, and grants to encourage responsible aftercare. Some syndicates and racing clubs now mandate post-retirement plans before a horse ever races. But implementation is patchy, and in some jurisdictions, it's still voluntary. There are owners, trainers, and breeders who genuinely care. Some celebrities and high-profile stables donate to aftercare programs, sponsor retraining efforts, and use their platforms to raise awareness. But others? They fade into silence the moment the horse is no longer a winning headline. One major challenge is tracking. Without a unified global system that follows a horse from birth to death, it's easy for animals to slip through the cracks. Some countries have robust protocols, but others lack even basic reporting. That inconsistency creates a loophole, the kind that bad actors can exploit. Fixing this isn't just about money. It's about accountability, transparency, and the will to change a culture that's been too comfortable looking away. This isn't about blaming the sport. It's about challenging the silence around the part of racing that doesn't come with trophies. What you can do. Change starts with awareness and action. You don't have to own a horse to make a difference. You can support organizations that rescue, retrain, and rehome ex-racehorses. Even small donations or shares on social media can help build momentum. Even sharing this video is a small step toward change, because the more eyes on the truth, the fewer horses are left forgotten. Talk about it. If you've met or adopted a retired racehorse, share their story in the comments. Let's honor these animals by keeping their legacy alive, beyond the winner's circle. Encourage the racing content you consume to feature more about aftercare, not just race day, because the more we ask, the more the industry must answer. Racehorses give everything on the track. What we do after the finish line defines who we are. If this story moved you or made you think, subscribe for more real stories from the hidden corners of the racing world. Because behind the glamour, there's always a truth waiting to be told.